in the beginning. So you're just gonna lay on your back with your feet on the ground or legs straight, whatever's comfortable. So what this is about paying attention. And that's the biggest thing you're going to do with this class is teaching yourself how to pay attention without getting distracted. So throughout the class, I give you 3 different things to help you pay attention. The first thing is I might give you a cue or like a move, something to do with your body that requires some technique with it. The second thing that I might give you is a visual, like imagine things expanding or imagine things compressing or deflating or melting, peeling. And then the third thing that I give you will be feelings, like something like what muscles do you feel? You'll feel your abs, you'll feel your glutes. And so you find those things to pay attention to. You can always bring yourself back when you get distracted. So but right now, I don't want you to change anything. I want you to just pay attention to your regular breathing. And see if there's something about your breathing that you can pay attention to during each phase. When it goes in through your nose, when it comes back out. Now I want you to start exaggerating your breaths in. Breathe in a little harder and see how much easier it is to pay attention to that. Notice the difference in your nose, how much colder the air feels. And how much easier it is to pay attention where you expand. What parts of you expand? Your belly, your chest, your sides. See if you can feel where you expand. Where does my air go naturally? And now see if you can see where you don't expand. Where are you not breathing air into? What is not moving when you breathe in? And now we're going to start with the first move. You'll be right where you are, on your back. Your elbows will be at 90 degrees, fingers up towards the ceiling. So both elbows down on the ground, like you're doing a row. And then you'll start with one arm up. And you'll breathe in through your nose, and then fully exhale through your mouth. You have to move your arm down very slow because it's going down with your full exhale as you deflate your whole body. Inhale, reach up with the other arm. Exhale, full breath out. Inhale, reach up with the other arm. So go ahead and get started. Inhale, shoulder comes off the ground, reaches up towards the ceiling. Slow. Exhale, slowly bring your arm down. And you're paying attention to your arm and your breathing. See if you can really connect the breathing with the movement. Because you're breathing in, that's why your arm comes up. And because you're breathing out, that's how your arm comes back down. Make your exhales really long. You're pulling every inch of air out of your mouth. And relax. Move to the second move. We did this one last week. This one seems to be everybody's favorite. So you'll set up in the rock back position, so your butt to your heels. That's where you might want a pillow between your legs and your hips. Put your elbows down on the ground first to set up. And then you're going to take your right arm and reach it up and then across. So you're just stretching all the right side. So you're going to lean over to the right, in through the nose, full breath out. And give yourself those exaggerated inhales. And I want you to go back to paying attention to where you expand, which should be on the right side of the body. What expands on the right side? And also pay attention to what feels tight when you breathe in. Where's the air going? Is it going to your middle, closer to your shoulder, closer to your low back? And I'll bring your right arm over to your right knee and then reach your left arm across, sink over to the left. And now where does the air go now? How different does it feel? And now you'll go back to the reaching, which should feel maybe a little looser after stretching your lats. So back to your elbows at 90, fingers up to the ceiling. Start with one arm down. But this time, I want you to push down into your feet a little bit. So you're going to push down into your foot, and that gives you something else to pay attention to as you breathe out. Bring your arm down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, drop down. So can you hold on to your feet while you're moving your arms with your breath? Can you make each exhale longer? And as soon as you get distracted, go back to your feet, back to your hands. And relax. Back to the lat stretch with your butt to your heels. Starting with both elbows down, relax into this position, and then reaching your right arm up and across. And this time, think of deflating the left side of your rib cage. So as you exhale, the whole left side of your body compresses, deflates, and then everything gets pushed over to the right. And can you feel the tension created on the left side from getting all the air out? And switch sides. Now you're going to deflate the right side of your body and inflate the left. And getting all the air out. And get all the air to the left side. And relax. Last round. This time, you're holding onto your feet. And when you inhale, you're going to reach so much that your chest starts rotating to the other side without relaxing your head. Don't let your head come up. And then exhale, drop your chest slowly. So now it's not just your arm. Inhale, rotate to the other side. Exhale. And you're still holding on to your feet. And now you're reaching so much, your chest rotates to the other side, and then slowly control it on the exhale. Perfect. And you can let your head rock a little bit. And let it go with your chest. Nice control on the way down. The slower you exhale, the slower you'll be able to move. Go so slow on the way down, you barely notice yourself moving. When you slow something down, you really have to pay attention. Awesome. Now you're going to go back to the last lat stretch. Left arm towards your knee, right arm across. In this round, you're going to go back to paying attention to where you feel the air in going. Is it any different from the first time? Is it a little more even through your shoulder all the way down to your hip? Or is it the same? And see if you can, one inhale, get everything to expand from your shoulder all the way to your hip. even if you have to move your body to the right as you breathe in. So exhale, sink over to the left side. And then inhale, roll over to the right, helping everything go to the right side. And then exhale, rock over to the left again. You're going to do 3 here. And then inhale, go over to the right. You'll do 1 more and switch sides. So first pay attention. Is it the same as the first round? Where does it breathing in go? And now exhale, rock over to the right. And then inhale, rock to the left, trying to push everything to the left. Awesome. Now you're going to lay on your back. Legs are going to be straight on a pillow. So if you have, or they can be just straight on the ground. So this is the exhaling that we did last week. Knees are underneath the pillow. You're going to lay on your back, in through your nose, full breath out. You're going to exhale so much that you start to feel all this tension from the exhale. Hold the air out for 5 seconds. And as you breathe in, release all the tension and breathe in through your nose. Allow it to just automatically happen. And then back to full exhale. Big, long, should be loud. You should be able to hear it. You should be able to really feel it in your mouth. If you're not feeling the tension, exhale even longer. It should feel a little bit uncomfortable. You should think of squeezing all the air out by exhaling, not by tightening up your body. Allow that to happen because you're exhaling. So everything that you're feeling is being driven by just your breathing. The muscles that are tightening up are only tightening up because you're fully exhaling, not because you're tightening them up actively, like bracing your abs. And relax. Perfect. Next is the inverted, less exaggerated cat-cow. So the less exaggerated means that you're only moving from your hips. So you want to think of your back pockets doing most of the move. So think of the back pockets pulling down towards the ground on the inhale, and then back pockets are being pulled back up, that goes up towards the ceiling. And then inhale, back pockets get pulled down, and then you're reaching through your arms the whole time. Nice. And then Sam, get on your elbows. Yeah. So elbows on the ground. You're pushing through your arms a little bit. Exhale, back pockets pull up. Inhale, back pockets pull down. The tailbone tucks between your legs. And think of only the hips moving. Can you feel the back pockets getting pulled down towards your knees? And now you're going into a glute bridge, which is the same motion with your hips, but in a bridging position. So feel your feet not picking up your hips. You slowly roll. So think of peeling your hips off the ground slowly, and you're rolling one vertebrae at a time. And that's what eventually picks up your hips, is the rolling, not the picking up. And then control it on the way down, nice and slow. And then roll back. Think of your feet rolling your hips up slowly, and then your feet also control it on the way down. And close your eyes and pay attention to your feet, and pay attention to the muscles you feel working, and see if you can hold on to those too the whole time. And relax. Now you're going to go back to the exhaling with your legs straight, pillow underneath your knees if you like that. Full breath out through your mouth. And this time pay extra attention to the tension that you feel at the end of the exhale. So while you're holding your air out, really bring the attention to all of the muscles that you feel working right before you let them release as you breathe back in through your nose. So notice how you're holding on to them, and then notice what it feels like to let them go. So at the end of the exhale, you're holding on to those muscles, and on the inhale, you're letting them go. And see if you can hold on to them a little longer before you breathe back in. So make your hold a little longer. What does that feel like? If it's uncomfortable, that's normal. And bring your awareness back to holding on to muscles and then letting them go. Now you're going to go back to all fours. Very similar visual of holding on to something and letting go. You can think of that as your back pockets. So these are my back pockets. They're getting pulled down, and then I'm letting them go back up. So inhale, back pockets get pulled down, and sometimes you might even feel hamstrings and glutes working a little bit. And push with your arms a little. And inhale, the back pockets get pulled down, and only the hips move. Your low back will move a little bit, but if just picture just the hips moving. Only allow that to move. Arms don't move, upper back doesn't move. And back to the glute bridge. Laying on your back, feeling your whole foot. Think slow, roll your hips up. And same back pockets are being peeled towards your heels, towards your knees. And on this, if your hamstrings start to cramp, it's better to just start all over. And if they continue to cramp, you can do this in a 90-90 position. The slow roll and a nice control on the way down. Your feet are controlling everything. And then back to the exhaling. Laying with your legs straight. And this time, instead of letting go of the tension, you hold on to the tension and you breathe underneath it. So she'll feel like a very restricted inhale. So you fully exhale, and instead of relaxing and letting go, hold on to that tension and breathe underneath it. It should almost feel like you're breathing underneath a capsule of tightness. And then continue to exhale and continue to breathe underneath that tension. But all that tension was created by you exhaling. So it has to be long and prolonged, all the way to like 10 seconds, 12 seconds. And the breath in will feel different. So notice the difference when you breathe underneath everything. And relax. And now you're going to take the breathing and do it with the other exercise. So instead of untucking and tucking, you set up. A really good way to set up is sagging the middle. So allow the middle to sag. From there, give me a little bit of a tuck and then push up through your arms. What you don't want is to hunch over. So let the middle sag, slight tuck through your hips, push up with your arms, and then hold for breaths. The same breathing you just did, the full breath out. So Rebecca, scoot your shift your weight forward. Yes, perfect. And then Sam, flatten your mid back a little bit. Yep. Perfect. And just keep exhaling, holding, breathing back in, and then repeating. And because you're upside down, sometimes that allows you to go even longer with the exhale, because now you're using gravity to help you. And I can explain that later. And relax. Now you're going to go into your last glute bridge, very similar. Instead of going up and down, roll your hips slowly, go about halfway up, and hold for breaths. So you don't want to arch your back. Back pockets are being pulled down towards your knees. Full breath out. So get about halfway up through your glute bridge. And hold on to your feet. Hold on to your back pockets. And then hold for breaths. How many things can you hold on to with your attention? And relax. Awesome. Next one. Trying to get the best lighting so you can see it. I call it the ragdoll tall kneeling hinge. So the motion is the same that you've been doing. You are gonna round. It's like a pull through or a hip thruster. That's what it feels like. So you're gonna hinge forward. So notice my head is way further. It's not right on top of my knees. So I'm not sitting back. I'm hinging where my head goes forward, butt goes back. From this position, my upper body is not doing any of the work. You're gonna start pulling your back pockets. And the back pockets, the motion you've just been practicing in almost all the moves, and they continue to pull, and you're going all the way to the top to this tall kneeling position. I'm feeling so much glutes, so much hamstrings. And then they control me on the way down. And notice my arms just totally dead. And then from here, my back pockets start pulling down, down until they thrust my hip all the way forward. So let's see that. So from that position, now the back pockets start pulling down. Looks good. And they control you on the way down. And you're making a conscious effort of not using your low back, not using your upper body. Nice, Candace, that looks good. So once you're in that hinge, the back pockets start driving all of that motion. Go slow. And relax. Were you able to feel glutes on that? Glutes and hamstrings? Perfect. Yeah, I saw maybe your hamstrings cramped a little bit. So the next one is all fours. And then we did this one last week where we drop and come up. But this time, I want you to put one hand on one shoulder and pretend that both arms are down. So your chest should drop evenly. So just a little bit. Exhale. Inhale, come up without rotating. Exhale, your chest falls evenly on both sides, like if you were to have both arms on the ground. Inhale, come up. So start with whatever side you want. All fours, one hand on your shoulder. And it's like you're dropping with both. So your chest is not sinking down more on one side than the other. And when you come up, it doesn't come up higher on one side than the other. It's like you have both hands on the ground. It's all being driven by your shoulder blade. And switch sides. Make a conscious effort at not using your neck, so shrug your shoulder down and get the reach from there. Exhale, slowly drop down. Inhale, push up. Don't let one side come up or dip down. Perfect. And then back to the ragdoll hinge. So you'll reach your hips back and then pull the back pockets down, slow. Gotta really slow it down and pay attention to what is working. They pull you all the way up. And then they control you all the way down as you're reaching back. That looks perfect. And who knew how much one area of your body could drive so much motion? And then back to the all fours. And both hands down first. Get a nice reach and then tap one hand and pretend both arms are working. Your chest drops evenly. And inhale, reach up. Upper back expands. And switch sides. Exhale, think of deflating your upper back. And relax. Last ragdoll hinge. If that felt comfortable, you could go all the way from the rock back position. So from this position, your back pockets start pulling you all the way up. So if you want to do that, you can. And then slowly control it on the way down. And the last quadruped. This time, instead of going up and down, you'll set up and hold for breaths. So unshrug the shoulders, push away from the ground, one hand on the shoulder, and full breath out. And you're not coming down. You're keeping the reach the whole time. And then your chest should not be crooked or twisted. It should be as if as both arms are pushing into the ground. And then switch sides. Each exhale, you reach a little more. You're not twisting. And relax. And for the last one, you're going to go back on your back, legs straight, whatever's comfortable. You're going to turn your attention to something less intense. So you're going to go from intensity, bring slightly high with a lot of muscles burning and a lot of effort, to lower. And all I want you to pay attention to is the support against the ground. So your feet on the ground, your hips on the ground, your head, your palms, your elbows, every part of your body that's supported on the ground, and hold on to that. Now I want you to go back to what you started with, which is your regular breathing. Just in and out through your nose. Are you able to pay attention to it? And get whatever comfortable position you want. And whenever you're ready, start moving around and start paying attention to everything else around you. Smells, sounds, space. Now you can go to sleep. Let's see.
Here in your high crescent. All of that this side might be different, yeah?
How do you feel?
Stance to find more stability. And while you're wearing it, your right hip flexor. The front of your right arm. And the back knee to explore strength of your booty muscle.
Who is that?
Exhale, easy open twist. Left arm back. Right hand twist. Brilliant. Use your body to twist your torso as your hips square the power and stability of your thighs. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah, any feedback? How was that? Who wants to go?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I just felt like lead, especially about 3 or 4 breaths into that last sequence, where I had a lot of my body almost trying to go through the floor. where when we started, so upper lumbar, lower thoracic, was touching the ground, but it was kind of just there, and it was actually flat. I mean, it was actually
Mm.
pressure in. So it really, and then my breaths, so that kind of poking through just beneath my ISA when we got started, when you talked about being, we're just as normal breaths, they kind of wanted to go there unless I thought about it. It was really going up the whole cylinder.
Nice.
So yeah, so some pretty cool changes.
That's cool. So does everybody know what the infrasternal angle is? Cool. So what it is, it's a measurement, a little bit. It's a measurement on a rib cage that a lot of people will test to see how dynamic the diaphragm is. So it's the angle here below your sternum. So you measure, like mine is very narrow. It's like 3 degrees. So you can have anywhere between a wide or a narrow. And the big key for this is to make sure that it moves. So when you breathe in, it should move laterally, so in the frontal plane motion. And then as you breathe out, it should come back down. What we end up finding is that a lot of people have lost the capabilities of having motion there, just like someone would lack the ability to extend a hip or touch their toes. They also lack mobility like around the rib cage. So with a lot of the stuff that I do is focusing on restoring those movement capabilities. And a lot of the exhaling and holding on to the tension as you breathe in is to make sure the diaphragm comes in and out. And when I said the inverted exercise can help you exhale a little longer, and it's because your diaphragm is like a parachute. So if I'm standing upright like I am now, when I breathe in, the diaphragm drops down. So that's with gravity. And as I breathe out, the diaphragm has to come back up. So I'm going against gravity to fully exhale. So if I flip you over and put you upside down, now I'm using gravity to help pull the diaphragm back into a state of exhalation. And if you really want a good inhale, you got to come from a good exhale. And I like that it's just one thing at a time. Because if you try to throw this all in one exercise with a client who's just learning how to exercise, doesn't end well.
Yeah, no, that's.
Well, yes.
I love the cue when you set us up in the inverted. That I think I could see for sure would have people stop that hunchback. So when you
the mid-back?
Yeah, when you kind of did that, tuck, then push through the arms, it's like you're right where the person needs to be with whatever they capabilities. It's great.
And in person, I push people's mid-back like aggressively. I'll be like, no, down right here, and then tuck, and then push up.
Yeah, and they're right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect.
Cool. What's up, Sam? Let me unmute you. Oops.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when we were breathing, when we were laying on our backs, and there was I think the third time we did just laying on our back, thinking about that breath, where you said then to breathe sort of into the tension of the exhale position. That is amazing. For me, I just feel everything into my back. Like it becomes like a 360-degree inhale. You know what I mean? Sort of like what JR was saying. I was like, when we first started, it was all just anterior, just like here.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got to that point, all of a sudden it was like, yeah.
That's really cool. Nice. That's awesome. Rebecca.
So similar. I think it was at that same point. I'm like, did this happen because I haven't been to the chiropractor? Like, I felt like everything, like my vertebrae and my rib cages were falling into place.
Oh yeah.
And like in one breath. But from like the beginning to the end, like my first breaths were very truncated. It was like inhales and exhales were like almost like I was starving, like trying, or what's that word? I can't find the word. But anyways, in the
Kinda
end,
like suffocating.
yeah, suffocating. I'm like, what's that word? But then like at the end, just totally smooth, and that was all those chunks were taken out.
Awesome. We actually even say it should feel like you're suffocating. And I think giving people that expectation can help because it does feel uncomfortable. So if we don't give them that expectation of it's going to suck, or at the end when I show someone a breathing exercise and they're like, oh, wow. I'm like, and that right there, that's when you know you've done it right. And then sometimes I'll even have my business partner like work out in front of people and be like, see how he's struggling with just all fours, and he's just like this big strong guy, and so they see him like so the inhaling where you feel like you're suffocating, and why it might feel less restricted towards the end is because you're literally expanding into areas that might not have a lot of access to expand. And so the more you practice, the more you can expand, and now the less suffocating it will be. Yeah, nice job. That's cool. Any other questions or comments? Nope. Awesome. Well, thanks.
Thank you.
I'll be here next Sunday.
Oh, bye.
Yeah, I'll send you this video and the one from last Sunday.
Great. Really appreciate it.
You're
Much.
welcome. Well, thanks for attending.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.